director.
Are we good? We're good. Okay.
We're good. You're not singing.
No, I'm not singing.
Okay. Good evening and welcome to Journeys with Judy. This is our season 2 premiere. We're excited that you all are back. We're excited to be back. We had a nice summer break and we're excited about the lineup we have for you all this year. And we are happy and honored that Lauren Mudrock is with us tonight. She is a Reiki practitioner and a professional photographer. And we were talking a little bit before the show started about how important I think she'll be in our community, because she has a true gift, and you're going to find out about that gift a little bit later. But Lauren, thank you for having us here at your beautiful studio.
Thank you for such a warm welcome. That's awesome.
So you alluded to the fact that you may have watched the show once or twice.
Yes.
So you know the format.
A little bit.
We're going to start nice and easy.
All right.
Where were you born and raised?
I was born at Franklin Square Hospital down in Baltimore, and spent the first 4 years of my life in Overlea. And then we moved up to Shrewsbury, and I've lived here ever since.
All right.
So yeah, pretty short and sweet.
That is. Do you have any siblings?
Yes, I have an older sister. She is about 2.5 years older than me, and she lives in Philly. She flew away from the nest.
Do you see her often?
I'm starting to see her more than I used to, which is really cool. I'd say a pretty decent amount. Good couple times a year.
So would you say you're close?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Excellent.
She's a cool older sister. I can only say that if you're watching.
Okay. How would you describe your childhood?
My childhood was disciplined. I will use that word. I was a naturalist gymnast growing up.
So at what age did you get into gymnastics?
That's a good question. I don't remember.
Okay.
My mom would be able to tell you that. But I'd say pretty early on, maybe 6 or 7 was when I started taking it seriously. And I know I went to nationals when I was 9 and retired at the ripe age of like 10 or 11. So, so it was pretty short-lived, but it was a really intense time. But everybody will always say that I was doing cartwheels right out of the womb. So,
So you were a natural.
Yes. Yeah. Many experiences of me doing tumbling and going to play gyms and everything, and all the coaches there just being like, she needs to get into gymnastics, she needs to go. So all of that created a very, very structured atmosphere for me. Like during the summers, we were in the gym like 40 hours a week. So it was like, yeah, it was a lot.
It was your full-time job.
Pretty much, yeah.
At such a young age.
Yeah, and when I was in school, I would wake up in the morning, eat, go to school. My mom would pick me up right from school. We would rush very dramatically all the time to practice, and then I'd be there for like 3 hours of my night, come home and eat dinner and fall asleep and try to fit in any homework and do it all over again. Like it was constant. It was a lot.
Now where did you train?
I went to Gymnastics of York, right in York, PA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Now you said you retired at 11?
Yeah, so I believe I was like 10 when I quit competing. My mom and I were debating about this the other day. She said I was done at 10. I thought it was 11, somewhere around there. So I competed in nationals, and then right after that, I wasn't having fun anymore, and it was draining, and didn't feel like I got to be me. I didn't get to be a kid, so I was like, I'm done. I mean, I was so burnt out.
Mm-hmm.
I was so like, there were days I just like couldn't move any of my muscles, and it was more of an emotional burnout that I think caused all of that than the actual like physical. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It was a time.
Yeah.
But it's cool. It definitely served. I mean, one learned so many lessons from all of that, but two, I still have all of those abilities. Like, they just, like, never left. When I was in high school, I took a yoga class and just, like, picked it up really naturally. And it was a couple years ago, 1 or 2 years ago, I was like, I'm just going to go start rock climbing. And I had never really done it before, and was a natural at that, too, because just carried over. So I only have my childhood self to thank.
Okay, so you retired from competitive gymnastics at 11. Once you hit middle school, high school, did you play any sports?
Yeah, my mom... I remember very distinctly telling my mom, like, I don't want to do this anymore, and she was upset with me. She's like, you need to go into another sport. You need to be doing something. You can't just be sitting around. And I totally respect where she was coming from, but I was furious. I was like, I don't want to be yeah, like, I want to be a kid.
To the man anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And so I went into volleyball immediately after that. I tried field hockey too. Totally not my sport. I hate running. So that was not fun. So I only did that for a season and then left that and started playing volleyball and played that through so my sophomore year of high school, and then from there got jobs, and that was my freedom. My jobs were my freedom.
All right.
But it was fun. They all had fun times in them.
So I know gymnastics, you compete as teams, but it's more of an individual type sport.
Right.
Did you find that you like the dynamic of a team sport or no?
That's an interesting question. Yes and no. Yes, because it takes a lot of pressure off of me, but no, because in the team setting, it takes a lot of pressure off, but it also puts a lot of pressure on, because I feel like I'm the kind of person, and this is something I've been working through a lot over the last year, who takes too much responsibility. So I'm like, the whole team relies on me, and if I can't carry the weight of the entire team, then I'm failing, and then I screw up that way.
All these terrible things happen.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but
okay.
individually, I loved competing individually because it's me, myself, and I. So yeah, I guess I do appreciate the being alone more so, because it even carries over to today. I have a lot of dreams of leading a team to do amazing things to help people, because, like, to me, I know how to work with people, from being sensitive and to being, like, stern and everything, and but I couldn't be, like, I don't know, there's a trust dynamic there that I haven't crossed that barrier yet to be able to really let everybody do their own thing, and that's a really cool project in my mind that I'm working on.
Well, I mean, that's a great level of consciousness that you have there.
Yeah.
That you know that that's something that you need to work toward.
Yeah, definitely. Because I want to be a safe space for everybody.
Right.
And I already am. It's in my mind that I'm not.
I was gonna say, you need to be a safe space for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Biggest thing I'm working on right now.
Okay. All right. So after 11, did you have any fond childhood memories?
I mean, I have plenty.
No, wait a minute. Okay. Let's go back to the lessons that you learned through the discipline of gymnastics.
Okay.
Were these lessons that you were aware of once you were able to step away from gymnastics, or is it something that you realized later in life?
Definitely later in life.
Okay.
I've always been a very introspective person. Very thoughtful. Sorry, I just remembered we're on like TV right now. That's where my mind went. Could you ask that question again, please?
Okay.
So disciplining lessons. Yeah, I've always been an introspective person, but I never really thought too much about how gymnastics impacted me until like this last year, really, maybe even last 6 months, and it piqued a lot of interest in me that, like, am I the only one who felt that way, or have the other girls who I competed with, like, do they deal with some of the same pressures that they put on themselves, and anxieties and stuff that were just like set in those structures and everything. So
when you're in an environment where you're being judged for your performance at such a young age, I don't know how there couldn't be a level of anxiety in all of you.
Right. Yeah. I hope everybody is able to work through it, though. With the lessons from all of that. It's really, I told a story the other day about how one time I wanted to, during the summer, my friend invited me to her pool party, and it was like at some public pool where there were just like all these crazy slides and everything, and like anything a kid would want. And I was like, hey mom, do you mind if I skip practice to go to this? Like, I really want to. And she's like, yeah, that's fine. And so when I was leaving practice early, I had gone like to half of practice, and when I was leaving, my coach took me aside and was like, Lauren, come here. If you want me to be dedicated to you, you have to be dedicated to the sport. And I was like confused in that moment, you know, like I was like, what does that mean? Like, and I didn't really know what like he was saying, but I was angry about it. I was like, that sounded like
you knew it wasn't right.
Yeah. And it wasn't until like I've been diving into I've been diving into this guy Kyle Cease's work for a couple years now. He's a transformational comedian, but I've been diving into it a lot more recently because he just came out with a book called The Illusion of Money, and it's really just clearing out all the bullshit that's stopping you from going after what feels right to you. But he talks a lot about committing to yourself, and I realized in all of those memories coming up that the only commitment that I was supposed to ever make was a commitment to myself, and I was doing that. I was honoring myself, and I got a lot of backlash from that. And my childhood was like always that, you know, you don't know how to talk back to adults. You don't know how to like they just make the rules, and you're just kind of like okay,
because you're taught to respect them.
Right, yeah. And so that really like set the stage there. And now this whole past year since I left my corporate job, I made a decision to leave that because it wasn't honoring who I was. This whole entire last year has just been me committing to myself and honoring my true desires.
Well, isn't it amazing at the age of 11 or 10, depending on who you talk to, that you were able to choose you? You honored yourself at such a young age.
And I wouldn't have been able to if my mom like didn't have my back in that situation. So like that's yeah. But yeah, it's cool. We do know. You
knew when you followed it.
Yeah.
Which is huge.
Yeah, that is.
Because it wasn't like you sucked. It'd be different if you sucked and you got out of it.
Right.
People would be like, it's about time for that. But you didn't suck. You were good.
Yeah.
You were very good. And I mean that's big. I'm sure there was a backlash.
Yeah. I haven't wow, there's a lot that I have to explore in this time of my life because you know, when I was I've always been hard on myself, but when I was at nationals, I was so like, I'm doing such a bad job, and but meanwhile I was the only one on my team who made it to finals, the only one. And I had such a negative image of myself, and yeah, that like always like stuck with me, that pattern of going to bed every night just thinking about all the things that I did that were embarrassing. It's like that was how I was wired growing up, and it wasn't because of anybody else's influences. Like my mom will tell you, like I was always competitive. As soon as my sister was learning how to potty train, like I was there with her. Like it was like I had to be the best. So like it's just like a natural thing that my soul required as part of my evolution. So yeah, I'm sorry if I got off topic there.
No. You know, striving for perfection is something that a lot of people can actually really relate with.
Yeah, and
you know, and you were going for the perfect 10 in everything.
Literally.
Yeah.
And it really halted me. And it's been such a cool experiment because being that perfectionist, once I kind of woke up and had my own spiritual awakening, I was like, fuck this. Like I can't. Like I was like, I want to be so far away. I want to be so far away from that person. I don't like who she is. I don't like the experiences that she's having. I got like really laissez-faire on my life and kind of sabotage it in the other direction. Like went way too like hands off, and now I'm finding a balance between the two of them. So this is really cool that we're having this interview now because life has shown up in a way that lets me know, like, yeah, I think you're finding your balance now.
Giving you the thumbs up.
Yeah, and like our childhoods, like whether they're good or bad, and I wouldn't say mine was bad by any means. I have so many wonderful memories, but really there just as like a benchmark and as a springboard. No pun intended for gymnastics. I hate that I said that. But then, like, really, we become so attached to them, and if we just like use them to grow and learn from, we can honor that and let that go and live this whole new life and just live such a beautiful story. So,
well, that's the biggest thing, when you're able to reflect back and see the experience as lessons.
yes.
Then you can honor it and move forward. And then you have an understanding as to why you were the way you were.
Yep.
And everything serves a purpose.
Yep.
And you're at that point where, just like you said, you're finding that balance. You're realizing that, you don't hate that person as you were.
Right.
You love that person.
Yeah.
Because look at what she made it through to get you to where you are today.
Right.
So that's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's get back to fondest childhood memory.
We're going to keep talking around this for the rest of the hour. Fondest childhood memory.
It can be a couple, or a generalization. It doesn't have to be just one.
Well, my best friend growing up, she was like a sister to me, and we were often confused to be as sisters. But she had a family. She had 3 other siblings, so it was 4 of them, and I would be over there all the time. That was my sanctuary, and we would always like role play different games, and we would. We made up a band called Zanya and the Rollies and sang about lasagna.
My sister and her best friend used to sing about cheese.
Yeah, it's a thing. What else is there to sing about when you're a kid,
Exactly.
So those were definitely like the best times of my life, just being kids. There was a really cool time that comes to mind. We were sledding, and everybody, at the development up the street, there was this, they were just building it, so there were like massive hills everywhere and no houses, so we would go sledding down there, and we were like trying to build a ramp, and there were like 5 of us out there, and it was just such a dud. Every time we went down, like nothing, and then everybody went in, and I was like, you know what, guys, I'm gonna stay behind.
Here comes the perfect ramp.
And the perfect ramp came, and I was alone, and nobody was there, and nobody at all to witness it, but like I went straight down and just like, I feel like I went like as high, like 8 feet high, and like obviously exaggerated in my mind, but it felt like it, and I hit the ground so hard, but I was like, in my pain, I was like, this is so cool! But
They're going,
yeah, it was like yeah, wind knocked out, like, but like, yeah, so those are really cool times. Would do it all over again.
Okay, so we touched a little bit about what was challenging for you as a child.
Yeah.
That consistent perfection, drive to be perfect. How about once you hit teenager? You said at 10th grade you branched out and started working.
Yes. So what was challenging for me over all of those years, once I hit middle school, and in elementary school, you've grown up with the same people. A small class of maybe like 100 kids. I don't know how many are filtered in your class at that point. That sounds about right. You get to know everybody really well, and it's in between your classes, like you're all kind of best friends. And once we branched into middle school, it was like all these people I didn't know yet, and immediately I was like, all these people I have to impress. And those are ugly times, and it showed because that was when I started like breaking out with acne, but it was more than just like hormonal acne. Like it was like cystic acne, like all over my body. It was really bad. So like my self-esteem was my biggest challenge, and still is. And it goes back to that perfectionism, but this time it was comparison.
Right.
And that never went away through those experiences, even through my time at college and trade school. Even till the past couple of years, this is also still a recent thing that I've gotten over, and I've shed that skin. But really trying too hard to fit in with like the cool kids, and I ditched a lot of my really good friends to try to impress other people, and got myself into a lot of bad experiences because I was so concerned that like if I do what's cool to me and what feels good and right to me, they're gonna yell at me, they're going to like leave me in some way. They're gonna pressure me, and it's just like it was just like I had to give myself away to everybody else,
Right.
And I think everybody kind of deals with that at some scale. I'm really honor anybody who never had like that inkling and to like
Right.
give in, you know. But yeah, self-esteem and
That's a great way to put it. You say give yourself away, because that's exactly what you do.
yeah.
And you don't honor who you are. And I'd like to find some person who's going to give yourself away at some point.
Right.
And wow.
Yeah. And again, it's a part of like just coming around full circle in your soul's evolution and everything. It's not a bad thing. It is what it is. It was just a way of showing you like you don't have to do that. Like you can find so much more success and value in honoring yourself.
And if you're comfortable with you, then other people will be comfortable with you.
And that's the thing is
Yeah.
we don't know. Like we're so convinced that we
Yes.
have to be like everybody else, but everybody else doesn't even know how. Like, gosh, they're trying to be like I'm trying to be like
They're
you.
a
You're
mess.
trying to be like me.
They're
And
a
like
mess as well.
right, yeah. And so like nobody knows like what is the right answer here, and it's just like dude, just like be you. And at first it's so like well, how do you do that? What does
Right.
that mean? It's like scary to like meet yourself. You're like horrified. Like I don't think I can be introduced to you, but it's really just like what feels right, what feels fun in the moment. Like
And you know, it's silly, but start little. Like my daughter is 14, and it's, you know, what kind of pizza do you want? If she has a friend over, well, what do you want?
yeah.
Well, Maddie, you always eat sausage. Mom, don't say that.
They can't know. They can't know I eat sausage.
You like sausage pizza? What's the problem? What if Emma doesn't like sausage pizza? I'm like, so?
Yeah, but you know,
But that's what
her
they're
friend.
worried about.
Did you say her friend's name was Emma? Emma would probably feel 100% more comfortable if she was just like, how about like, what do you think about sausage pizza?
Exactly.
Takes all the pressure off of her. She doesn't have to make that decision.
Absolutely. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm going, I don't care all the time instead of just saying what they want.
Probably the most used phrase in that time of my life.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just close ourselves off because it's not saying I don't care. It's really saying I care too much.
Right, exactly.
Oh, which
And I
is so
really,
funny.
really care what you think about me, so I don't care.
Yeah. It's really funny we're talking about this because I do a lot of inner work, rewriting my life story. Basically, I'll go through and think about like all the bad boyfriends. I've had so many bad boyfriends that I'm going to write a book about it. Like that was like there will be a book on that. But I think about one stands out most to me, and just all the things that I all the times I said no to myself. If I knew what I know now, then I would play it totally differently. So I rewrite these life stories in my mind, and it's so empowering and just really helps me find security in my own decisions. But I just completely like rewrote that. Like when he asked me out for the first time, I just said, you know what, no. I'm like, I don't need you. And then like he was like left confused, and I was like, I saw myself walking down the hall, just like standing so tall and owning myself. Like it's so true. Like if I knew what I know now, like it wouldn't even be about like me having a really good experience. Like I would transform the entire high school. Like I would have brought such a different experience to the entire place, and I hope that, I mean, it's clear that like each generation is just like more in tune with themselves every time around. So I don't think it's going to be long before we see that.
Mm-hmm.
Before we see people, I mean, it's already happening, but people really staying true to themselves and helping other people see that in themselves at such a young age. That's just such a cool idea to see. So I don't know. Sorry, another tangent.
Don't be sorry. We go where we're supposed to go.
That is true.
Okay, so you said, you know, all those same challenges still carried over into your young adult years.
Yes.
Okay, so college.
Yeah, college was really tough for me.
Where did you go to school?
I went to Westchester University.
Okay.
I chose it for the town because I didn't really like have any desire to go to college. It wasn't that I didn't have a desire to go to college. I just didn't know what I wanted to do. So I was like, I love Westchester. My sister went there. My best friend was going there. We roomed together. Her whole family was going there. Our boyfriends were going there. But we both chose to go there before our boyfriends went there. So
Okay, good. People commenting already. I can't believe she chose her college based on her boyfriend. She did not. Her boyfriend chose because of her.
Which I don't even know if that was the case for him. I don't know. Yeah, that was very challenging. That was I talk about comparison. That was when I got my first tattoo, which is a quote from Teddy Roosevelt that says, "Comparison is the thief of joy." And I just remember I was sitting in our friend's apartment on the kitchen floor with everybody, and we were watching some videos from Soul Pancake. I don't know, have you ever heard of that? So we were watching some Soul Pancake videos, and some lady was talking about feeling comfortable in her skin and said that quote, and I just knew. I was like, I gotta go get this, and I was like, I'll be right back, guys. Just went and got a tattoo and came back, and it was fine. But it was a really tough time in my life because I was trying to figure out, like, I was so depressed and so anxious. Really dark time, really codependent, really manipulative. I was an ugly person, like, inside. And it was so crazy how it played out, that codependency, me and my best friend, like, we admit that we had that on each other. And that destroyed our relationship, our friends, like, the entire dynamics were completely destroyed. And we guys just, like, by the end of the school year, like, we weren't talking anymore. I wasn't talking to any of them. And it was just, like, I felt, like, so lost because I had left that boyfriend at that time too. So, like, I just, like, had nobody. And I was like, it was just such a dark time for me, you know? And it was all because I was giving myself away. Like, it was interesting because everything, there's a whole story behind that needs to be shared, and I don't know if I have time to share that now, but we went 5 years without talking, me and my childhood best friend, and we recently, like, reconnected because I was, like, having really synchronistic dreams, and they were, like, soul dreams. Like, I would just, like, wake up, like, do you ever have, like, I don't know, I just, like, woke up very gracefully from a dream, and I was like, my soul, like, was saying to me, like, your soul's learned the lessons that they needed to learn. It's time for you guys to reconnect, and it was, like, such a cool thing. So, yeah, but during, so I honor that, like, everything happened exactly how it was supposed to for us to learn what we needed to, and things are cool again, and I'm so in love with that story, and just being able to connect with her. But yeah, it was a dark time. It was like I was trying to branch out and meet new friends, but I cared too much about what my friend group thought of my new friends, that I, like, hesitated. You know, I didn't go all in. I didn't let myself have that fun that I was looking for. So everything was just very forced, and there was so much tension all the time. So by the end of it, I was just like, I don't belong here. Like, I can't be here. And I just told my parents, like, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm not coming back. And there were so many signs that I wasn't supposed to be there, because I was going to move in with all of my friends into a townhome, and then shit hit the fan. So we didn't. I got out of that lease, and then tried to get into 2 other leases, and just weird random situations happened that last minute it was like, nope, can't, just can't. And then I was like, I'm not supposed to be here next year. And yeah, from there, like, took a whole another turn, and still dealt with myself. Like, I wasn't awake.
It doesn't go away.
Yeah, it was like everywhere you go, there you are.
Follow you everywhere you go.
So, like, it was more situations of just, like, people coming and going, and just codependent relationships and everything that were just, like, not literally, but, you know, slapping me in the face again and again. Right. So it was, but life is so patient, and will teach you the lesson until you learn it. And it wasn't until, again, like, it really wasn't until, like, the past 2 years that I started getting, I would say I started waking up at, like, 21. And that's when I was really, like, starting to undo all of those things. So, yeah. So what was the question?
Move on to what's challenging for you now. You've done a lot of growth and work in the past 2 years. So what continues to challenge you today?
I love this question because it is giving myself permission to step into everything that I am. And it's a challenge that I am currently overcoming, and I'm seeing myself beginning to take this huge leap into that, and really believing in myself. Like, when you talk about the law of attraction, it's all about the energy you're bringing to the table. And on paper it looks like I've done everything right, but there's so much anger in me that I'm like, why are things not working? And it's just been revealed, like memories have just been revealed to me that like I've given so much of my power away to people who just said no, and so I pay attention to my limitations way more, and I wasn't aware of it. Like I thought I was like breaking through my limits and everything, and all of a sudden like it's like, wow, more limits. I didn't realize that I believe in these. Yeah, so I'm currently working through allowing myself to feel completely at peace and confident with where I am, who I am, and what I have to offer, even if I'm not where my ego expects me to be. And I have found a tremendous amount of peace in that, and that's like my daily struggle. I wouldn't call it struggle, because I'm at this point where like I am peace, and it's just kind of like that. I don't know, I'm just upgrading, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
It sounds to me like you are able to look back and honor the journey. A lot of light workers, practitioners get into this, and they honor the journey just like we talked a little bit about. We honor the journey of the people we work with, but we forget to honor the journey of our own.
Yeah.
Because if we haven't lived it, then we can't effectively help them.
Right.
So it's all just a stepping stone for us to help people even more.
Right.
And that's something that we fail to realize sometimes. So it's really good that you're able to reflect back and see and honor how far you've come and the experiences that you've had.
Definitely.
That's fantastic.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, so what jobs have you had to this point?
So my first job was a cashier at Wetzel's Market. It was a market. It was a grocery store out in a local town here. Took that when I was 16. I had just gotten my license. And then from there, I worked at Bunky's Ice Cream, and yes, I have an ice cream tattoo to honor it. They were awesome. They were like the first people, Bon and Keith were like the first people who were like, dude, you want to go like do art for a living? Go do art for a living. They were like the first people who were like, it's cool for you to follow what you want to do, and you're gonna be fine. Like there's no dire consequences to doing what you want to do. And I had always been raised like to believe like you gotta go in business. Like my dad was always very like adamant, like you gotta do what's gonna make you money. And I appreciate that he's taught me so much about business. But I was like, wow, I can like do something creative and
do something that brings me joy.
Yeah, right. So that itself was really cool. And at Bunky's, like I learned to really find my voice. I was known as the girl who sings. I would just always sing there, and it was like such a cool time. And then after I left there, I was on a video production team for an online poker show, which was a really cool time in my life. That was like right after video school, and yeah, I got to do the behind the scenes. Like it was a live show. And I got to like communicate with people who were on camera and everything, and it was like so cool technically. And then I got to actually fill in on camera, so I got to play both roles, and like
it was cool.
It was really cool, yeah. And then they cut that department, so that job ended, and that's when I started my photography business, which is very funny because I've always wanted to do branding, and I've always wanted to work with entrepreneurs and do headshots and do branding, but I didn't believe in it, so I just went the easy route and did what my mentor did and went into wedding photography because I was like, I can figure this out, this is easy, it's really good money, and this is fine. And eventually, like, there's so much struggle, and I was like, I'm trying so hard, why is this not working out, why don't people like my work, blah, 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 and it was all clearly a reflection of me. And so that imploded, and I was luckily left a good impression at that video job. There was a video project that needed to be done somewhere else in the company, and there were like 3 or 4 other people who graduated from the same school that I did, who had the same video background that I did, and my boss she'd gone to everybody and was like, hey, can you help me on this project? And they were just like, no. It's just pretty like, no, I'm not interested. hours one week on this side project that had nothing to do with it, but like it was so fun. Like that stuff, hands-on creating is just like so much fun to me. So we did that, and that left an impression on her, and she was an awesome boss. So she called me up a couple months later and was like, hey, there's this position as a Scrum Master. Like, do you want this? It's us, we're in the company. And I was like, what is a Scrum Master? Yes, I do. I do want this job. Like,
I'll take it.
Scrum Master?
What is it?
And I learned about it, and it was like a project facilitator. Like, you're not a project manager, but you're also not like a team member. You bridge the gap between management and developers. It was a tech company. And yeah, that was a real challenging time in my life. Taught me so much, helped me grow up so much, and I absolutely love everybody there. And it was a very, very good situation we can all laugh at. But I did that job and for like a year and a half almost, and that was up until last year. This time last year, right around this date, it was September 22nd, I believe, was my last day. And then I just took the last year to cruise. I was like, I don't want to be here anymore. My heart was not in it. It became a job where I would cry on my way to work, I would cry at work, and I would cry on my way home from work. And suddenly one weekend, I had a really good weekend. And I was like, wait a minute, like this is backwards. I should, something tells me to follow this. And I was getting really into spirituality, like really into it. I was in a class at Total Soul Connection with Heidi Williams, and it was just like, yes, like go do this. And like I had magically saved up a lot of money, and I was like,
magically.
Yeah, it felt like it really felt like it, because like I've always had that broke mindset. So like to see like all the money that I had, I was like, when did this happen? And like taking money from like my business, which in my mind was like I failed, but it was like, no, you have to have like a couple thousand in here that you can like use. And I was like, well, all right, well, on that note, I'm out. And yeah, I've been I cruised ever since. I got into Reiki, became a Reiki master, and was doing that for a couple months, but then felt guided to just not anymore. So, and I had to honor that, and it wasn't until about 2 months ago, 2 months ago maybe, that finally everything came together and it made sense, and here I am doing what I always wanted to do, doing headshots. I built my own studio, which we are in right now.
Where we are.
Yeah, like that was totally like, I at that point when I started building it, I was in Reiki, and like I had such a bitter stance towards photography that I really didn't think I was going to pick it up ever again. But like something in me was like, paint the walls and put in this flooring, and then like all of a sudden I was like, wow, what is this gonna, like, am I gonna do Reiki down here? Okay. And then 2 months ago it was like, no, here's everything in your business plan that you need to know. You're gonna be like this awesome branding photographer and headshot photographer, and like, let's go. And everything just like fell together in one. So that's what I'm doing now. That's where everything has brought me. And it's like so freaking cool. It is so cool. I'm so excited. I love it.
Okay, so when did your spiritual journey begin?
I'd say right before my 21st birthday. I had just lost my pop-up, my best friend. Really amazing guy. I had just lost him, and there was like a lot of fear around death coming up for me. And I would have like panic, like at that time, like it was crazy dark. My consciousness was just like not in a good spot. I was having terrifying dreams of like exorcisms all the time, and like it was like I believe, like now I have a totally different understanding of what dreams are, but like and what they like represent and mean and everything. But at that time, like it was just like a lot of really dark, heavy stuff, and so much anxiety. I was so afraid of death that like I couldn't fall asleep at night. Like I would it would take me hours to just relax to go to sleep, but as soon as I lost consciousness, like my body would like jolt awake, and I would just like shake. And like at 20 years old, 21, I had to like call my mom into my bedroom to like calm me down, and I was like, this shouldn't be happening. And then I was working at Bunky's at the time, and I was at Summers, their Stewartstown location, and this girl was just like telling me about this thing called Reiki that she did, and I was like, that sounds amazing. Like we were her dad had passed, and so we were like sharing stories about just weird instances and things that were like going on, and I was just like so curious about this, and I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna have to check this out. And so I went to Heidi and I got a Reiki session, and there was like this huge draw to it. Like, I need to learn more about this stuff, and then from there on out, it was everything to me. Everything. Like, everything.
I call it my gateway drug.
Yes.
It's definitely what brought me in. I had my first session with her in December of 2012, and I was the same way. I was like, I don't know what the hell just happened, but I know I need more.
Yeah.
And from that point forward, I didn't understand everything that was going on, but I knew it was making me feel better, lighter, clearer.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I had an interesting, like you saying it made you feel better, lighter, and clearer. As I actually only had one Reiki session before I dove into becoming a Reiki master myself.
You do know that I was the one that convinced her to start teaching.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
She says it with such like, there's just so much like, yes, you, like, I need you.
I need
my
you
teacher.
to start teaching.
I love
now.
it. She's like, what? Okay, me?
That's
and now
true.
here she is, like, so thank you.
You're
You
welcome.
helped me. Wow, this is actually, that's really big for me to, genuinely, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, so I dove into classes upon classes with her. I think I took like 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
They were like long months, like 7-month classes and everything. Yeah.
It's not a weekend.
Yeah.
It's a weekend workshop.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So you Reiki master, and she offers so many different workshops that I don't know that she gives certificates for everything. But
She does.
Does she?
Yes.
So archangels. I mean, she offers so much.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever taken any of her archangels classes. I've learned about them on my own through books I'm called to and everything.
Gotcha.
Sorry, again, I just realized we're on camera. This is
Focus.
yeah, right?
Focus on me. So Reiki master, you said, so you were seeing clients?
Yeah.
You were working with clients. Did you enjoy that?
I did. It was definitely a challenge for me because of that whole like responsibility aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Inside of me, like, I wanted them to see everything that they were and like everything that they could be, and like it was very frustrating if like we'd get done a session and I'd be like, okay, I picked up this stuff, like, does this resonate with you? And they'd be like, yeah. And like I wouldn't see anything happen in their lives, and it was like a very like, I was very like pulled, like,
You were too invested in the outcome.
yes, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, so that was that, but there were so many beautiful experiences that came from that as well. I've had people who have experienced like God in their like first ones, and just overpowering like bright white like this male presence energy that they couldn't even describe, but they were like so blown away. And I've had there's just like the amount that people can open up to you when you just like provide that space for them. Mm-hmm. That whole, it's okay to be you, and it's okay to realize you're on camera a couple times.
Absolutely.
Like, it's, I don't know, I'm just so you just don't know how much of a healing space you become for people once you're just like yourself, once you're completely authentic and just that space, like,
it shifts everything.
yeah. And it's so crazy because I hear so many times, like, I've never, like, nobody ever, like, listens to me like this. Like, they all just need to, like, fix me. And, like, while maybe there was a part of me that did need to, like, fix people, I never, like, showed it to them because I wouldn't serve them. That was something I needed to, it was something I needed to work through. So yeah, just to, like, be that space for people to open up to. And incredible things happen.
That's such an honor.
Yeah.
Doing this work is very much an honor. So how do you feel the energy Reiki part of it now influences what you do? Do you feel there's an influence at all?
100%. So I was just on a friend's podcast, and I talk about authenticity on that, and and how no part of your journey ever goes to waste. I just, in this last year, said yes to everything that felt like a calling to me. And Reiki, while I don't do it like full time as my main focus anymore, it's completely helped me connect to myself and helped me provide that space for people. So when I'm taking their photos, like, you don't have to show up. You don't have to show up in this like crazy energetic mode. Like, you can show up and be like, I had a shitty day, I'm not feeling it, and I'm gonna meet you where you're at. And before we take your photos, I'm gonna meet you where you're at, and like we're gonna build that momentum in that area. But you don't have to fake it anytime. So, and it helped me completely change my own energy and my own outlook on myself, so that I'm able to be completely present for my clients, and not have my own ego in everything. Like, I just can show up for the moment. So definitely in like those intangible, like soft skill ways, it's been phenomenal. But also in a more tangible way, the community, like it's connected me with the people who I am working with now, and like Christine Closer, I just did her branding photography, and that was a whole synchronicity in itself of how we got connected. Totally divine plan, though. And now I just know, like, I really connect with people who are looking to connect with themselves, and you just get like, and you know, like introverts and I don't know, quiet people. Like, I can really bring out who they are. So like that whole entire community is my niche, and those are my people, and those are the people I want to work with, and those are the people who are being sent to me. And that's such a cool story, because when I was at the end of my long, like, I don't know, it was like it was one really big season for me for wedding photography. And when I got to the last wedding there, my friend Jim, who is a phenomenal photographer and like everything I strive to be as a wedding photographer, I was talking to him about it, and I was like, I just don't want to do weddings anymore. This is my last one. And I was describing to him, though, like this girl I had just taken photos for her nutrition. She was a nutritionist, and I was like, I just took photos for her, and it was like really cool. And now I want to go take pictures of my garden, so I can give her like stock photos to work with and use them on her website and everything. And he was like, well, I think, like, you know your target audience. And, like, it just, like, didn't click for me. And I was like,
wait, what?
Yeah. Like, I was just like, no. But here I am, like, working with those people, holistic people. And I couldn't be happier. Like, yeah, I want to branch out and do other things, too. But, like, that's, like, I'm good. Like, I'm working with really cool people because of Reiki.
Well, and think about it. The spiritual community themselves are people that want to present themselves as their true, authentic self.
Right.
So who better to work with than you that can see it?
Yeah.
You can access it. You can pull it out.
Yeah.
And you are able to put it on film. We were talking about rainbows and getting rainbows on camera before, when you met us at the door, and it just made that connection. It's like you have these people that strive to have that inner rainbow reflected on film to sell. You know, to promote themselves.
Right.
And you are the photographer that can get that rainbow.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
It is. Thank you for saying that.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's definitely cool, because when you show up to the moment, you don't know what you're gonna get. Like, I do a lot of prep work with my clients to help us figure out how we're gonna tell their story and how we can really best represent them. Uninfluenced by what they should be doing, and more like, well, what do you want?
What are you feeling?
Yeah, what are you feeling? Yeah. Like,
so how do you do that? If someone was to book a session with you, what do they expect? What should they expect?
So right off the bat, I keep things like very personal. We hop on a video chat, and that's like the first impression you get of me and me of you, and it's totally casual but personal. It's just like the whole welcome, like everything about my business is just making you feel welcomed. And we book your session, and then I send you a workbook where I go through a bunch of questions and have you answer them, and they're all designed to get you out of your head and into your body and into what lights you up. And I like to say, I put people in their comfort zones.
Perfect.
Like, what?
Perfect.
Yeah.
You know, most people you talk to don't like getting their picture taken.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That's important.
And the whole entire session. So like I take every element from their workbook and I include it in their session so that when they get here, it feels like home. And yeah, there's so many details that go into it, and then I'm so goofy and just like joke around all the time, and I'm just like, I don't care, I'm gonna be me, and I'm gonna make fun of myself while I'm photographing them, and I say really weird things all the time, like baller and holy damn, like I don't know what happens to me when I'm taking photos, but
you get in the zone.
Yeah, I just, what are words? I don't know. It's just so silly together. So that always lights people up, and the whole entire thing is just like making them feel comfortable. So afterwards too, I send them proofs and they get to choose their favorite ones, and then I edit them, and then I follow up and I'm like, hey, do these match like what you expected, and is there any way I can help make these more you through the editing style? Like, do you feel like you're like somebody I just asked back to was like, I feel like I look really pale in these, and I was like, all right, cool, let me fix that. Like, if that doesn't feel like that fits you, I don't want you to walk away with anything that doesn't. Like,
right.
I don't want you to walk away with photos that you wouldn't want to use.
You're not going to use, exactly.
Yeah.
That's not the point.
Yeah, which is funny because when I talk about doing Christine's branding photos, she went to 2 different photographers at 2 different points, and for her brand, it was like, I want to up my brand. Spent almost $10,000 to have these photos done, and used about 2 out of like both sessions, 2 total, and now she got everything she was looking for out of the session with me, and that's awesome. Crazy and awesome.
Well, we indirectly met at Breakthrough last year.
Yes.
Which was super cool.
Are you going this year?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay.
I want to. Are you?
I am.
Are you?
Oh my gosh, yes. That is like my Comic-Con. Like,
yeah. I don't know. But the funny thing was, I was there and I wasn't really sure why I was supposed to be there, because I'm Christine's energy practitioner. And I was guided to be there. So I'm like, okay, am I here for her? Am I here for me? So I'm standing there at the door waiting to go in. So I'm thinking, all right, what if I'm here for her? What am I looking at? What am I doing? And I saw her big poster. And the first thing I thought was, that's not her.
right?
It's a great picture, but it's awful.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't her.
Yeah.
She looked very plastic and fake, and that's definitely not the woman that you see on stage in there.
Or you interact with.
No.
And what I love about her is she's like, what you see is what you get in every situation. She's so real on stage. She's so real in every single interaction you have with her. And I didn't even know this woman. I showed up there last year, and I had no idea.
So you didn't know her?
I didn't know her at all.
How'd you find out about Breakthrough?
Heidi was like, hey guys,
oh cool.
My friend Christine's doing this event that people all over the world travel to, and it's for transformational authors. And I was like, well, like, I've always wanted to write, but like, I'm not that, but I'll check it out. And she's like, it's just like
me. I'm not writing a book. Why the hell am I going?
Right, exactly. But like, it doesn't matter. You just show up, and
it doesn't matter.
I had like, side note, my knees were in extreme pain for like a month before that, and I couldn't, no matter what I did, they wouldn't heal. And after 3 days of going to Breakthrough, they just went away. It just went away. The pain went away and healed itself. So I'm gonna, I don't know, that stuff is so cool to me. But I didn't even know her, and I just showed up, and I remember standing in line waiting to meet her, and I was looking at those photos, and I was just like, this isn't exactly that. Like, this isn't what this woman's like not at all. And I was like, you know what? Like, I'm probably gonna see my own work up here one day. And here we are, a year later, and my photos are gonna be up there. And like, yeah, sure, there's an ego part of me that's like, yes, but like, it's really cool. In all of the ways, like, I love being able to serve Christine in a way that really represents who she is, and it's so cool. So. I don't know.
You're a badass manifester.
I'm learning that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Okay then. You better get her now.
Yeah, right?
You better book these chicks now. Okay. So if someone wanted to contact you, how could they reach you?
They can reach me. You can reach me at lmudrockphoto.com, or you can search Lauren Mudrock Photography. It's Mudrock. you can reach me there. I'm on Facebook and on Instagram under the tag of Mudrock Photo. So any of those ways, and yeah, I would say those are the best. Those are the best ways.
Do you have any special events coming up?
I do.
You
Thanks for asking. Yes. So the studio is in the last stages, the final stages of being set up, and to celebrate. I always had this idea to hold an open house where anybody who wants to show up can get a free headshot, and this was back in the day when I was like, oh, I would love to do a headshot business, but not gonna happen. I remember like telling somebody, what if I did this open house thing? And she was like, that'd be really cool. And I was like, nah. So here we are, on October 4th and 5th from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. I am having an open house where you can show up, you can connect with the freaking phenomenal people in my community, and meet me and meet these other people. I can meet you, and you get a free headshot, and it's going to be a really amazing time. I already feel that, like 100%. So, yeah, that's the October 4th and 5th, a Friday and Saturday from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. And to make sure you like get the studio location and everything, you can send me a message on Instagram, on Facebook, or through my website. But there are a ton of people who are already signed up, and yeah, some people I know really well, some people I don't know at all. So this is going to be like such
Fantastic.
a really expansive event that I encourage everybody to come to, just because stepping outside of your comfort zone, man, like,
Yeah.
and getting to know new people. I mean, that's what Breakthrough was for me last year, and has every event since Breakthrough has led me to this moment and to all of my success. And so witness that for yourself. Give yourself a chance and see yourself through in that. It's totally worth it.
And it's a free headshot.
And it's a free headshot. And they're really cool. They are so cool. I'm like, and I say that, like, I just, every time I take these photos, I'm like, what? Like, that can't yeah. They're just like, it's such a cool style that I don't know how it happens. It just happens. So check out the work, see if it's what you would want, and come get a free headshot.
Okay, so before we leave and say goodbye,
Okay.
do you have any pearls of wisdom for our viewers that are struggling, just beginning
Ooh, yes.
on their spiritual journeys?
Yes. You will never, so the piece of advice that I always give is you will never miss an opportunity that is meant to be yours. Everything else until then is literally just practice. It's impossible. Like, you can't mess up the game of life, even though there's so many things that we're so hard on ourselves about. We're like, ugh, I messed that up. I'm no good. No. Like, I didn't know how my journey was gonna, like, pan out, and it all served me. You can't mess anything up. With that, you can speed up the process a lot more by connecting to yourself and doing what feels right to you, and
you can do it the hard way or the easy way.
And the easy way is doing what feels fun and light and freeing to you, and just do that. That's it. That's all you gotta do, and life will conform to that. So that's my bit of wisdom. Like, if you're just starting out, just love the journey. It's all one big experiment. Yeah.
All right. Excellent. Thank you so much for having us, and thank you for being our season 2 premiere.
Thank you. That was exciting. I want to talk more. I want to go for like hours. Like all of these things.
Debbie Zambino, we did an interview with her last year, and we talked about doing an after-hours show.
Oh, that would be
That's
great.
when all the dirt comes out.
Yeah.
But, okay, so thank you all for joining us. We are happy to be back on air. This year, we're changing some things up. We are branching out further, so you're going to see more Friday night and Saturday shows. And the weeks that we do Friday night or Saturday specials, we won't be live on Wednesday. But we'll give you a heads up about all that. We're excited about the guests that we have booked already. And we're booking into December now, I think. So yes, if you have any suggestions, remember we're always up for recommendations and suggestions from people. And I think that's it. Jen, do we have anything?
Nope.
All
No
right.
questions.
Well, thank you all so much for joining us. And don't forget you're awesome.